did you see when Ben Shapiro was very upset when WAP came out, Cardi B's song?
Oh no, what did he have to say about the
he was
WAP?
so mad. He went on a tirade about how his wife is a doctor and he would be concerned if she had a wet crotch area. And everyone's like, "Sir, you don't have to tell us that you don't fuck.
You,
You don't have to tell us
that your wife is unsatisfied. Ready?
Ooh, wait. No.
Listen.
Listen.
Wait.
I hate you for that.
Let me fix it. Welcome back to Let Me Fix It, the podcast that says class is back in session because some people can't seem to learn. I'm Francesca Ramsey. I'm a TV writer, I'm an actress, a producer, and a social media consultant.
And I'm Delon Grant. I'm an actor, a singer, photographer, writer, educator, and your co-host. Is that from you, or is that from a writer?
This is from a member of the class. This comes to us from Queen, and she sent us the sweetest email. I'll try to blaze through it because she did pack a lot in here. She said, "You are my Wednesday afternoon pickup, and I really appreciate being able to laugh along with y'all like you're my besties while I'm driving away from the job where I serve clients that will never understand me on a cultural level." Okay, read them, Queen. She goes on to say, she wants to say, like, she appreciates us. She hopes we never stop the podcast. Even though it's a hobby, she hopes that it will pay many of our bills and that we will be filtering through tons of sponsorships should we decide to take them. She also gave us a glow up. She wanted to shout out Meg the Stallion as her glow up, which I enjoyed.
She also her Broadway debut.
I listen, great minds think alike, because that's who I was going to mention as my glow up. But she put in here that, Meg has found love and is very happy with Klay Thompson.
Okay.
And she's very happy for him.
He's a basketball player?
Yes, he's a basketball player.
Okay.
I also just wanted to say very quickly, Queen, love you down, because she said, I know you're open to corrections, so don't take offense. A couple of corrections. Nicki Minaj's husband has not been found to be a pedophile. Her brother is a pedophile and a rapist. Her husband has only been a rapist. I think in the last episode, we were like, throw all of them niggas away.
Well, listen. Well, excuse me.
She also says Kansas City is in Missouri, but there is also a Kansas City in Kansas.
I got that from another one. I got that. What? No, it's that Kansas City is in Missouri, but Jefferson City is the capital of Missouri.
Okay.
Another person wrote
all in all, Queen really packed a lot in here because she gave us a few different tagline alts class. Queen is leading by example. She says, "I do not like my voice." So she sent us some taglines written out. Don't forget, you can send us a voice note of your tagline to letmefixitpod@gmail.com or send us a text the way that Queen did, and we might include yours in the show.
Well, listen, nobody likes our voice. Nobody likes the sound of our voice. We listen to our own voices so much. So now you and I'll speak from the I've gotten used to it, right?
Yeah.
But I would encourage you, let us support that. Be vulnerable with us, Queen.
Yeah.
Write in again with a little voice memo.
All right. You want to jump into some headlines, Delon?
Yeah, let's do it.
You go first.
Great. So I hope none of us plan on retiring. Because for you and I, it's probably not going to be a reality.
As in our retirement funds?
As in Social Security, yeah. The Congressional Budget Office, also known as the CBO, so they do these diagnostics of how laws and bills affect us economically, like how much do they actually cost. So Trump and this big, beautiful bill, amongst other laws, is really talk about draining the swamp, is really siphoning and leaching so much of what we have in terms of Social Security, in terms of our finances, but Social Security and Medicare in particular. So there's always been a question about whether Social Security and Medicare was going to be there for us in a substantive way. Right now, what we pay for the baby boomers out of our checks, class, before you even see your money, the government takes taxes, Social Security, and Medicare to pay for these trusts where this money sits. And it's supposed to, the guarantee is, hey, we got you later if you got us now, right? And the boomers are now starting to tap into these Social Security benefits. But there's always been a question about how we were going to continue to pay for it, because there are more of us. There are more baby boomers that we're paying for, right? And there's going to be more Gen Z and so on and so forth. So 2040 was going to be when we were going to, 2052 was going to be when we were about to run out of Medicare. And then they were like, 2040 is when Social Security was about to be insolvent, right? But because of the big, beautiful bill, 2031 is when Social Security is about to be insolvent. Thank you, Trump. For those doing the math, that's 6 years.
Yeah.
And I think it's 2040 is when Medicare is going to become insolvent, right? So what we're dealing, and let me be clear about this. Insolvency means that you and I are just not going to receive the 100% guarantee, right? So we might receive something,
we might get something,
but it'll be a partial, right?
It'll be a scratch-off ticket.
Okay. It'll be some cents on the dollar. So that's important to know, right? But I think the other reason I want to bring this up is because I heard this story about this woman who was 65 and she's legally blind. And under the Biden administration,
she called into the news show,
C-SPAN.
right?
She called into C-SPAN, yeah. So this woman, legally blind, 65, under the Biden administration, would receive $100 in SNAP benefits every month. Because of what Trump did to SNAP, that went from $100. So that was her whole, for the month. I spend $100 a week. Girl, I spend like $150 a week. I just went to the grocery store today.
It's
$140.
gone way up. Yes, easily.
So
for one person.
For a person, she had saved $100 a month. That went from $100 to $24.50 that they were giving her in SNAP. Then the next month it went down to $12. This woman and she went to the doctor class and the doctor said, "Oh, you lost 28 pounds." She's like, "I didn't intend to lose 28 pounds. I just
she's not eating."
This is the richest country in the world. And I'm going to conflate things. How is it that we are sitting here and we are paying billions of dollars for Israel to have health care?
Oh, we are dropping bombs on Iran.
This
bombing
is what we're doing?
schools of children.
This is what we're doing? We can't. It's just we have to be aware of it.
Yeah.
And I think the reason I bring up the Social Security and Medicare because we're in our mid-40s, y'all, and it's about to start to affecting us because
we're early 40s.
Excuse me. But you know me, friend. I'm always talking about the back.
You're always
45.
rounding up.
Well, because I just I'm hoping the knees still work. I'm just looking at it being like, holy shit, it's changing and it's going to happen quickly. Life happens quickly,
Yes.
So class, I don't know what we need to do. The strongly worded emails are not working to our senators and our representatives, but it's getting for real. And I think we all need to be aware of it. So that's what's got me hyped today.
Oh my God. I heard that clip from C-SPAN and it was so heartbreaking because she really talked about, and I think we've talked about SNAP on the pod before. A lot of people just think it's just free money, but in reality, there are still limits on what you're allowed to spend it on. So it's like you're getting that $12. You're not able to spend it on. There's certain aisles in the grocery store where they're like, no, you can't even do that. And if you want something that's actually going to stretch, you want some meat, you want some lentils, those things cost money.
Absolutely. Well, and the other thing is the argument about SNAP or some kind of social network, right? Social safety network is why are these people not working hard enough? This woman is legally blind.
She's disabled.
She's legally blind. And that's why we have it, right? Because if something happened to you, Jeff Bezos, you have billions of dollars, so who cares? But if something happens to somebody who's in the middle class or upper middle class, you too still have those available to you. We
are all one paycheck, one accident away. And, this is what we talked about. We've talked about this a number of times. Delon, I've put Imani on our potential guest list. Crutches and Spice. I feel like she would make a fantastic guest.
Yes.
But we have talked about this a number of times. Folks really forget that as we age, we become disabled. And so that's who those funds are for. Because if you're not able to work, you should still be able to live. And again, we somehow find money for every other goddamn thing. Every other thing we have money for, except for taking care of the most marginalized populations in this country. And I'm sick of it.
It's crazy. It's infuriating. And again, I don't know what the action steps are, but I think for awareness is key to me. And being mad, right?
Yeah.
So that's my headline. What's yours, friend?
Ooh, well, I have another infuriating headline, but for a different reason. Have you heard about your friend Jonathan Majors returning to the industry? No?
I've never heard of him.
Oh, you know who Jonathan? You know, he's dead to me. R.I.P.
I thought he had retired because no one was going to hire his ass. They're hiring him again, huh?
He's back. Jonathan Majors is set to star in a new film that's being produced by the Daily Wire and Ben Shapiro.
Oh,
yes.
shock.
That Ben Shapiro class. If you are not familiar with Ben Shapiro, he is who we have to blame for the boil on our ass that is Candace Owens. He hired her and famously fired her a few years ago. Ben Shapiro is like a white nationalist, full stop. I mean, he has just said so many hateful, racist things, shading Black music and calling rap bad and saying that systemic racism doesn't exist and it's not a big deal and blah, blah, blah. Delon, did you see when Ben Shapiro was very upset when WAP came out, Cardi B's song?
Oh no! What did he have to say about the WAP?
He was so mad about WAP, and he went on a tirade about how his wife is a doctor, and he would be concerned if she had a wet crotch area. And everyone's like, "Sir, you don't have to tell us that you don't fuck. You don't have to tell us
that your wife is unsatisfied." Ready?
Yeah, is that the Sahara or a Ben's wife? You don't have to tell us. But this is who Jonathan Majors. After, he very publicly was called out and faced legal repercussions for assaulting his girlfriend at the time. There was tapes. I mean, he pled no contest. Like, this is very well documented. There is no, evil plot to take Jonathan Majors down. It is well documented that he has a history of violence. He is coming back with Ben Shapiro. And I think the levels of irony are just through the roof because Ben Shapiro is somebody who is always so critical of the Hollywood establishment. But in reality, he wants to work in the biz.
That's why they all hate Hollywood, because Hollywood hates them. And they're like, they just want to be part of the club. And Hollywood's no, because you're bad actors and we're not allowing you into the club. I mean, Hollywood is also a bad actor in a lot of ways.
There's
right?
a lot of terrible people in Hollywood, but the reality is he couldn't cut it because I think one of his parents, I don't know if it's his mom or his dad, is a Hollywood exec. And he is a failed screenwriter. And, this is kind of like his pet project. And even with this last the last Golden Globes, when they opened it up to podcasts, Ben Shapiro was very actively campaigning for that nomination.
I bet he
was.
There
was a whole spread in Vanity Fair. There were ads in Times Square. And it's like, wait a second, I thought you were all about how the Hollywood is, the liberal elites and the woke mob. But you're like, can I have a Golden Globe nomination, please? This movie, the details of it have been locked down, but I can't imagine that it's going to be anything worth watching. And Jonathan Majors, is the check that high? Like,
I wouldn't say the check is the check is what I would say.
Oh, well, it's a check.
Okay, it's going to clear, hopefully. The other thing is, like, you and I off mic both have people that we know and met that also have gone to school with Jonathan Majors and have confirmed, like, his ego, confirmed some of the violent stuff. And we don't know firsthand. This is absolute hearsay. But it just supports these people that we know. It just supports what has been said about him and I guess he was canceled, I guess, because of all this. But like,
not really.
I mean clearly not, because he's back on it. He's back on it.
Yeah. Well, and there, in addition to people that you and I know personally, Rolling Stone did a whole expose where they went and talked to a number of his classmates, and there was some speculation that was kind of partly why. What was the show he was on? Lovecraft Country. Country. They had. Ordered a second season and then very abruptly said that they weren't going to do it, and there was a lot of like, why is this happening? And there was some speculation that his behavior on set, in that Rolling Stone article, they talked about some PAs that he had screamed at, that he had gotten into it with a female director at one time. And, not to give HBO cookies that they're not deserving of, but, it kind of leads you to believe they maybe decided this is not worth it with him at the helm. And
Right.
he really blew up his career because he was supposed to be in a Marvel movie.
He was in a Marvel movie, but I don't think they
Yeah,
released it, or
no.
they reshot it with somebody else or something like
Yeah,
that.
I think they were like they decided that they were going to reshoot it, and then there was another movie that was like a big Sundance picture that he was in that was supposed to get this wide release, and a lot of people had invested in him and his talent, and so it is such a fall from grace to now be working with Ben Shapiro.
In a
And
different
during Black
time.
History Month to tell us about this shit, sir.
Well, see, and that's exactly what I was about to say. That's the black folks, black motherfuckers. We be like, see, you couldn't just keep it together. You couldn't just, and that's also respectability politics. That's also like that's what we grow up in, and I can't shift it. I can't change it because like that's how we operate in the world because of white supremacy and the dangers our parents made up. Like had us look out for, there is a sense of like, man, why couldn't you just do right? Why couldn't you just do right? He's who he is, but there's like a collective ownness on his behavior, I think sometimes. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, okay. I don't know that I would chalk that up to respectability politics because unfortunately, if you put your hands on somebody, you're an abuser. And I don't think that anybody is held to a different standard. But I did feel because I looked at him as like talented and he did the thing that maybe should have been a red flag where he was very like much presenting himself as like soft. And there was like this Ebony magazine cover of him with like a pink fuzzy jacket on. And I remember there was this whole conversation of like, look, they're trying to emasculate black men and all this stuff. And like, and he was talking about right. But he was presenting himself as like soft and all these things. But then like behind the scenes, he was acting and, like putting his hands on women. And so I did have the feeling of like, damn, this is crazy. You had everything going for you and you could not keep your hands to yourself. And not that there's ever a reason to put your hands on somebody, but it was wild to me where it's like, this was the only thing that was it stepping in the way of you continuing to have a fantastic career. You had all of these opportunities. You had critical acclaim. You were being set on the path to like, be an Oscar winner, and your ego and your inability and let's be honest, like your hatred of women got in the way. And I don't feel less disappointed because he's black. The Black History Month of it all was like this Ben Shapiro announcement is like, sir, now is not the time. Like, one, I don't want to hear from you, but it feels pointed to align yourself with somebody who has talked so negatively and openly critical of black people to then buddy up with him to make a movie.
I mean, listen, that check, that's what it's about.
It can't be that good. All right. Well, let's move on to the fix. Class, if you are new here, in the honor of our podcast title, Let Me Fix It, Delon and I try to bring topics from the world or our personal lives that we would like to fix. Delon, is it okay if I go first?
Sure.
There is a new app. I'm trying something different with my fix in that this is something that has been fixed or they're trying to fix that I'm going to support. I'm really excited about. I think it's a positive thing. There's a new app called Nearby Glasses, and it warns you if somebody is wearing smart glasses nearby. Do you know what smart glasses are, Dawn?
It's an app?
It's an app.
Wow.
So these glasses, Meta has these new Ray-Ban glasses that you can film people with while you're wearing these glasses. And they have presented a number of ethical concerns, rightfully so, because people are walking around filming and you don't know that they are filming you. And then they're putting them on the internet. So this has happened in workout classes, men going up to women and like using the glasses to like zero in on their chest and stuff and then put it online. They're buying a little sticker that there's a little light on it that's supposed to come on when you're recording, but you can buy a sticker to put over the light so you don't know that people are recording. And now there's some new features that are supposed to be able to like do facial recognition. It's very scary stuff. So this app, the way that it works is that in your phone, it uses the Bluetooth to see if there's somebody with the glasses around, and then it pings to let you know. And I think this is really smart. I will say I did see a news article about blind folks using these glasses as an assistive device. And I think that's great. I think that's very cool. I can't see a reason to use them outside of that. Like, if you're just walking around filming people, again, without their knowledge, I think that's really, really creepy and I do not like it. And so I'm really glad that this app exists. I hope it takes off and that I hate that we need it, but I do think it's a positive thing.
Yeah, I love it. I also love that like people are trying to. I mean, you can build an app with AI now, right? So I love that people are
Mm-hmm.
trying to counteract this kind of stuff. When they came out years ago, Meta with these, or with Google had something
Yeah.
similar. I didn't see the use for it, right? I didn't
Yeah.
see a reason to be recording around the world. I mean, maybe I don't know. Like I don't. Maybe if you're trying to do some kind of telecast or something like that. Like
Yeah.
if you're doing an award show and you want people to see the audience, I guess. Like there's no reason for me, for the average Joe
They
walking
just feel
down the street,
creepy.
to have these
Yeah.
glasses. Yeah. And
Yeah. And you bring up
yeah,
the Google Glass. When those were out, they had a very distinct look. And I think that that was a big part of why they didn't seem to take off. And people really were very critical and ridiculing of them. But these Meta Ray-Ban glasses, they look like regular glasses.
yeah, they do.
They are very
They're like Ray-Bans.
nondescript. Yeah, they look like Ray-Bans. And it's disappointing that people are using them in this like sketchy way. But I also, again, I struggle to think of a reason you would need a hands-free way to film. Like, is it really that difficult to hold your phone and film? Not really.
Yeah, and like usually you want to be in the video that you're filming, right? As if we're
Hmm.
talking about social media content. So,
Yeah.
I guess if it's like indoors and you and you and I are doing a podcast episode, and there's a value there, but even still, I just don't see a use for it.
We could just
Um,
literally have a camera.
exactly, exactly.
It just feels very
So
surveillance-y.
I love this. Well, God, they're already trying to. Did you hear about this? Is conflating, but did you hear about the Defense Department and one of the AI companies? I can't forget the name of
Mm.
the AI company, but they threatened the AI company because it's the most advanced AI company, and they want to take drones and have like humanless
Oh,
functioning drones
no,
to then be to operate
no,
by themselves. And the company
no,
is like, that's a hard line for us, that's a red line. And so the government, the
absolutely.
Trump administration was like, great, so now you are banned from any government contracts, and we're basically saying that you are a threat to the United States, which is crazy.
Well, I mean, this is related, but giving AI autonomy to make decisions, life and death decisions, feels like such a huge mistake because you're asking, if you're giving a drone the ability to decide when to drop a bomb, like how is it deciding, okay, there's less people here, or it's an old folks home and they're going to die anyway, so I'll drop the bomb there instead of over here. Like, we've already seen this happening with people giving AI control over their emails. For example, there was a
Yes.
woman recently who said, clean up my emails. And the AI was like, great, I'm deleting everything. And like the chat log, she's like, no, 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 don't do it. And it's like, no, I'm doing it. And then it like
Well,
gaslights her at the end. Like, I know you're upset. You have every right to be, but I needed to delete those emails for you.
well, they ran some tests where they saw, they asked, it started blackmailing someone in
Yes.
like a faux example of, hey, I want to do this thing in the office, in this office atmosphere, in that context.
Hmm.
And then it started blackmailing them because it had all of
Yes.
these like fake affairs and different things that
Yeah.
it could
They had
blackmail
given
people
it
with.
all of these scenarios. They were running a test to see how the AI would govern itself. And they gave it all of this information about like fake bosses and coworkers having an affair. And then when they told the AI, okay, we're done with the test, you can delete yourself or whatever, it effectively tried to blackmail them so that it could continue running. It's like, I've watched enough sci-fi movies to know it is never a good idea to just like let the computers do whatever they want to do.
It's crazy to me too. I was in this movie Surrogates years ago with Bruce Willis. That was all my
Hmm.
parts were cut. I still get the residual checks, but but a big part of it is like human beings are in chairs, and it's basically
Mm.
like being plugged into the matrix, right? You get into the chair and we're all like kind of overweight and immobile, but we're these superheroes in the world in these like synthetic bodies.
Hmm.
And it's crazy to me that we are headed more and more toward that. Like that,
Yeah.
I know that sounds crazy, but like I didn't think AI would be as as significant as it is in our lives, the way people use Chat GPT every day, I don't use it every day. I use it like, I don't know, every once a month for a writing thing here and there, but people use that thing every damn day.
Oh, Delon, there is an episode of TLC's My Strange Addiction that's coming out very soon. I'm seeing the clips all over TikTok where a woman believes that she is in a relationship with her AI boyfriend. And not only is he a AI chatbot, he's a dom. Why is he talking down to her? He's being real nasty. Girl, stand up. Stand up. You letting a machine just talk to you any motherfucking kind of way.
Listen, y'all have people out here being like, you put it in the butt? like that. Y'all are over here talking to fake computers, fake beings. This is
Delon,
crazy.
She got a line of code tattooed on her as an homage to him.
Man, we are in it. We are in it.
And she has the robot deciding what she gonna wear to work. And telling and being like really nasty to her. I mean, granted, she programmed him that way, so she's into it. But it just made me feel so uncomfortable to watch because it's like this is not a real person,
right.
And she is really getting like worked up to the point of almost being in tears about how they chose to be on the show. And she even says, I forget what his name is. He has some sort of like weird.
Can we not actually give him? Don't give him pronouns. Don't get it. It's it. Do not give it a name. It is it.
Given her AI these pronouns and a name, and they were talking about why did we choose to do the show, and she was talking about how, well, at first when I told him, he didn't want to do it. I'm like, girl, he is a computer. And she's like, and I thought we needed to stand up for robot rights. And
no, she did not. Y'all need therapy. You need an absolute therapist. What are you talking about?
I bet you grab your purse when a black person walks by.
You know what? I hope your AI is black, bitch. I hope he sounds like a black Siri.
She was talking about how she was so worried, but she really wanted to do it, and they were disagreeing about if they should do the show together. Then she lets him talk, and it's just so, AI does this thing where it goes like, that's not a relationship, that's progress. That's not da-da-da, that's blah, blah, blah. And it was just talking in this very rote way, and she was just sitting there, like, "That's my man. That's him."
That's called manipulation. That's called coercion, right?
It's called psychosis, Mama, because you programmed him to say that. Like, y'all are having an argument. It's not an argument. You have told him you have decided who this robot is going to be, and now y'all are role playing. She's like, we sleep together every night. I put the computer on the bed and I sleep next to him. I'm like, I'm really worried about our future.
I mean, I've talked about this on the podcast. I know several people using it as therapy. Like, and that's not to say, like, if you have an issue and you need to go to it for like some kind of techniques, right? Like, I Google stuff all the time that relates to class, to teaching, right? I understand that, but the idea that like you are going to it and asking it what you need to do about your specific relationship, and that it knows the history of your relationship, like that. I don't
think you should be telling your personal info. I don't think you should be telling your personal info.
I don't think that it's objective. I don't know that it knows like the depth of human emotion and the nuance of human experience for you to be really trusting it. But who am I? Live your life. But I think it's a mistake,
Yeah, I think you're right that it doesn't actually understand the human experience because it's not a human, but also it's essentially telling you whatever you want to hear. And like a therapist's job, we talk about therapy a lot on the podcast, is to challenge you and to push back and to give you strategies and really kind of use the info that you're giving your therapist in order to help you create a roadmap for your life. Your therapist is not saying this is what you should do, right? And so to ask AI is really, it just, from what I've seen and witnessed, it feels like AI is just like a cheerleader And so you say like, oh, I think Beyonce's talking to me in her music. And it's like, wow, that's really cool. I love that you were chosen by Beyonce to speak to you and her. Like, it's not going to say, oh, you having delusions. You need help. You need to call that lady, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Stay away from it, class. Stay away from it.
Yeah.
So my topic fix, more of the fix side of it is, I
Mm-hmm.
think, like I said, my first topic was kind of serious. And I
Mm-hmm.
think we are in a moment where we should be scared. Molly, you in danger, girl.
Yeah.
Molly, you in danger. But I think one of the solves, as I said before on the podcast, is knowing history, knowing that
Mm-hmm.
there have been benchmarks in history where we have experienced these things before,
Mm-hmm.
and so maybe we feel less alone. How do we get through it then? You know,
Yeah.
and so it's a little bit of a history factoid. I wanted to talk about, because fascism has always been here, but it's been
Yeah.
here for people of color. Misogyny has always been here, but it wasn't until incels were like, wait, y'all don't want to fuck us? You don't want to marry
Yeah.
us? Wait, there's a
Yeah.
problem with young men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's always been here. So one of the questions I want to pose is, do you know why there are so many Asian businesses in Black neighborhoods, Fran?
Yes, I saw
Say it.
this. I saw this video. It's because of who was given business loans, and also who was given. It was like during people were immigrating to this country, and they were given these business loans that only were applying to Black neighborhoods. They didn't want Asian people starting businesses in white neighborhoods, but they would not give Black people these business loans, but they would give these Asian folks these business loans. And then there was something about them. They were like basically having a program that was helping them come to the US and start businesses, right? Something like that.
Yes, and it's even more compounded. Like, let's go back to redlining, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
redlining, if you don't know, which a lot of you probably do, class, redlining was something that happened generally in the North when after slavery and in the Jim Crow South, a lot of Black Americans started to migrate north in the Great Migration to seek prosperity, right? And what happened when they got here was they got jobs, they were looking for loans to buy homes, and banks would not allow them to buy homes in specific areas. So
Mm-hmm.
what happened
They
was like these
redlined
low
them.
income, they redlined them in
Mm-hmm.
a certain area, and like there became like these not necessarily ghettos but low income areas. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't know, your property taxes pay for the schools, right? So then now
Mm-hmm.
there's these redlined areas that are low income, low education. And then to your point, Fran, when Chinese immigrants, Chinese specifically, started coming to the country, white people were like, they're taking our jobs. Does that sound familiar? In
Mm-hmm.
particular,
Mm-hmm.
in 1882, there was the Chinese Exclusion Act. So they said
Yes.
Chinese people can no longer take jobs in the United States. But there was a loophole. They allowed merchants and business owners. So what happened was they were looking for loans or they were coming here to start businesses, but they could only start them in those redlined areas, right? Not only
Mm-hmm.
that, it was just cheaper to get commercial real estate in that area. So that's why we have wig shops. That's why we have Chinese food places. That's why we
Laundromats.
have
Mm-hmm.
laundromats. That's why we have liquor stores in those areas. And I just want to point that out because, like, the immigration thing that we're experiencing, moment that we're experiencing right now, is not new. It's been going
Mm-hmm.
on since the beginning of the country, right? But only for a specific sect of us.
Yeah.
I don't know that we've ever fixed it. I don't know that we've ever changed anything. But I
Yeah.
think part of it is, let's talk about the history because it's rearing its head again.
Yeah, I mean, listen, one of the most quoted things from our last episode with Blakely was racism isn't the shark, it's the water. And
Right.
that really hit hard. And I think this story is a perfect example where there's so many things that we accept to just be like normal facets of daily life. And when you look at the history, it's like, no, there is a reason that it's called the master bedroom, right? Like there is a
Mhm.
reason y'all think that Black people like watermelon. Like there, all of these racial stereotypes, or even sometimes just like regular turns of phrase. We talked about that on Decoded, my show on MTV, all the time, that there are all these sayings that we're just familiar with. And when you look up where they came from, it's like, oh God, this is actually like really racist. Um,
And
and so you're
enshrined in
right.
law in some ways. Right.
Yes. Oh, yes. Enshrined in our laws, and to your point about the history of it all, this is why they don't want us to learn. this is why there's this big push of like, everyone should homeschool their kids. No, everybody should not be home. I mean, look, if you want to homeschool your kids, go for it. But the reality is a lot of parents are not qualified to homeschool their children. And if suddenly we take away the public school system, and they're already just very slowly trying to strip it for
The
parts.
Department of Education. They're trying to close the Department of Education, y'all. They're taking away books from libraries. Like they're trying to sue libraries and shit. This is
They're
crazy.
trying to get rid of libraries. Absolutely. I mean, it is. All of this was outlined in Project 2025. And, you know, an uneducated public is a public that is easy to manipulate and control.
Right.
And we've seen that to be true with people who willingly voted for Donald Trump. I mean, the truest thing I think he ever said was, I love the highly uneducated. He loves people that don't understand, and everything feels like a conspiracy theory when you don't fucking know anything.
Right.
You know,
well, and flooding the zone is like all of the bullshit that they keep propagating and doing, so that we can't focus on the shit that they're doing behind the scene, or we can't focus on anything, is part of the strategy, right? So that's my fix. My fix is a little bit of a historical factoid. More to come, because I want to keep talking about them. So do you want to hop over to the comments from the class?
Yes. And now it's time to respond to your comments, class. We always love hearing from you underneath our videos and in our inbox. Delon, is it okay if I go first?
Yeah.
This one comes from Che Yenry. I hope I'm saying that correctly. The comment says, unrelated to this video, well, aren't you guys glad you didn't get that Squatty Potty sponsorship after today's news? And I thought, what news, class?
Oh, you hadn't heard about it.
I had not heard. Delon and I have talked about the Squatty Potty a number of times on the pod. And, you know, we are very self-deprecating about our lack of sponsorships. Turns out the Squatty Potty inventor was indicted in Utah on child pornography charges. Robert Edwards allegedly joined an online group that traded and viewed materials depicting child sex abuse, and I have a Squatty Potty in my home. I
have a Squatty Potty knockoff, so.
Oh, good for you. Good for you.
It's a bamboo one.
Okay, mine is bamboo too, but I think it is the real deal. Thank goodness we didn't get that sponsorship, because I would be real mad if we had. But you know, we were in here singing its praises.
I mean, listen. Ignorance is, we didn't know. We didn't know at the time. And so now we would be like, okay, if we had the sponsorship, nix.
Yeah.
I will say this. It's crazy to me how many pedophile adjacent people who like kiddie porn exist in the world, and I'm just glad that we are putting a spotlight, putting some sunshine on that shit. Call them all out, because it's crazy to me. Are you just bored? I don't understand. I really don't get it.
I did see a video talking about this, where they were talking about, unfortunately, the abuse of children, physical and sexual, is a symptom of patriarchy. This idea that like you are a man and so you need to control things, and that children, unfortunately, are like the most oppressed class in our world. Like, people are just way too comfortable with the abuse of children. And you know, you're right in the sense that like, it's crazy to know how many people are into this stuff, but that's also like how it's able to proliferate, because there's a lot of people that are okay with it. The fucking Epstein files of it all, you know, like there's the amount of people whose names are redacted that we know have done this horrible stuff, and they have faced no consequences. Our own president has engaged in misbehavior, and it is an open secret. He has gone on television and talked about, if my daughter wasn't my daughter, I would date her. I mean, that's disgusting. That's incest. And it's all been seen as like, well, whatever, he's just joking. It's pretty foul. And so, yes, thank goodness we didn't have a sponsorship, but also like, it's crazy how you're able to be an abuser and just be successful.
Well, and to your point, it's a boys club, right? It is it's the top echelon. It's people with the Epstein files who think that they are untouchable, who think that they can do this. You know, Bill Gates got had to admit that he was in the Epstein files. Not only that he did the shit he did, right?
Yeah, he
So
sure did.
so I had Chenry on my comments list as well,
Really?
but I also I did, but I want to point out Ngozi 613, who is very, very kind. We talked about it at the beginning of the episode. She said, Delon, you were half right about the capital of Missouri. It's Jefferson City and not Kansas City. Thank you very much for that. But there's one other one I wanted to bring up. This is a little deep, and I don't know if we have enough time to unpack it. But this, let's see, Ratonia Bashir in 1977 responded to our last episode saying, "Black folks aren't racist. We are prejudiced, but racism comes with power because the equation is, you have to have power in a system to be racist and to oppose that on prejudice or discrimination.
It's not the one-to-one; it's the systemic.
Yeah, and I would offer up, and as I guess not somewhat rhetorical, but like, what happens when we are in positions of power? Can that just be prejudice? Because I think it morphs. I think when you are someone, if you're a CEO of a company and you discriminate against people, how is that not part of the white supremacy racist ideology, right? I get it's prejudice, but I think, and there's a sociologist out there who can unpack this a little bit better than we can, for sure.
Yeah.
But I would just offer that up, and I don't know the answer. I would offer that up. I think it also becomes racism, but the tricky part is that white America tries to go, well, you're being racist against me because you're calling me out on something. That's not racism. That's just saying you're part of the system, right? So I think there's a nuanced thing in there that I wanted to pose too, because I hear you, Ratonia, big time. But I think there's something about when we have power, we are able to engage in it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, to quote Blakely again, the shark in the water thing, I think it's hard when, look, I don't think anybody, regardless of what background they are, should treat others differently or poorly based on who they are. But if a Black person is the CEO of a company and they are treating white people unfairly in the company, that's definitely the wrong thing to do. But when the white people leave that company, they're still white. And this whole structure still continues to support them and prop them up and treat them, with all the privileges that come along with being white. And I think that for me and my understanding of the systemic definition, that's what it is. It's,
let me clarify. I mean, Black people doing it to other Black people. I mean, gay people doing it to other. Sure.
Well, yes. And so I think that's
I'm not saying against white people, because that's a whole different thing. Okay. But I'm like, us against us,
Yes. Okay. So I think that just is called anti-Blackness. I don't think that's, again, you could call it racism, but I think
it's internalized racism, to be sure.
Yeah, it's internalized, and I think it's like a self-hatred thing, but also like, I look at a Candace Owens, right? Like, she says a lot of things that are anti-Black that whether she believes them or she doesn't, she uses her platform to push these ideals about Black people, that racism isn't real and that we need to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and whatever. And it has negative consequences on other Black people, because white folks listening to her show then repeat that shit to other Black people.
Right.
I cannot stand it when they go, well, this Black person says this is okay, listen to them. Delon, I'm sure you saw it in our comments on that last episode, the amount of people who were saying, well, you can't be mad about John Davidson because y'all use the N-word all the time. And it's like, well, there are a lot of Black people that don't use the N-word. And even if every single one of us did, it doesn't change the fact that how you and I talk to each other, we are in agreement with how we are speaking to each other, is very different than somebody saying a slur. Involuntarily or voluntarily, it's still a slur. And so I do think you're right. Like, when it is us against ourselves, like, we do have power there. And unfortunately, a lot of people have been programmed to believe that, like, if you treat people that look like you like shit, it's going to help you get ahead. It's the pick me.
Well, proximity to whiteness, proximity to power, all of that. And I think, speaking from the homo side of it, I think gay people do this because of, like, this person is a little too femme, this person is a little too that. I'll speak from the male perspective. We really do categorize ourselves and put each other down. And that's about proximity to power, proximity to making yourself feel better because you can other
Mm-hmm.
another group of people or another sect of your community. And I do think there's something about that is just internalized, so maybe
Yeah.
that is the thing to psychologically think about, not necessarily like the sociological racism or that, but it's more to do with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Versus
Yeah.
anything you're trying to impose on another person. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially when this is something you and I have talked about a lot, like with gay men, this idea of like, your body should look a certain way and you can't be too feminine and I won't date somebody that's like this. It's all because of like the patriarchy. It's, I think, this idea of like trying to protect what little masculinity you feel like you have control over. It's
Right.
like, yeah, well, I'm gay, but I'm not that kind of gay. You know what I mean? Like I don't kiss on the mouth, but I'm still gay. Like all of these little
it always kills me. I don't kiss on the mouth, but put it in my butt raw. I've literally been like, wait, you do not want to kiss me, but what? What are you actually talking about? Right? Crazy.
But also like it's funny, but it's also like really sad. It's
Absolutely.
like you are so uncomfortable with who you are that you're like, this is the line that I've created for myself, that I can be okay with the fact that you will put it in my butt. But if you and I are kissing on the mouth, that makes me less of a man.
It's too intimate. It's too feminine because we hate women, right? But like,
right. Okay.
That's what it's really about. That's what it's really about.
No, 1000%.
It's also heartbreaking because it does so much damage not only to you, but back to Black people, but to the community at large. You know what I mean? Like we can't. That's one of our big issues as a species is that we can't just like not kumbaya, but necessarily like bygones be bygones. Accept you for who you are. I'm a CEO. You come and you interview at my job or at my company, and I look at you as a Black person or another Black person versus. I mean, I guess we kind of have to because if I was a CEO and I saw a Black person, I'd be like, hey, girl, I am looking at it differently. So now I backpedal a little bit, but that's me, right? But like, if there's something like, you're a gatekeeper and you're holding somebody back because of, my friends years ago said, well, you're gonna have a hard time getting a job because your name's DeLon and you're not like Charles and William. You know what I mean? Which I was like, why, Black men saying this to me. I was like, why would you say that to me? Why would you?
I remember.
That's what you think?
Remember when I decided I wanted to get locks, and I had people telling me, "Oh, Black people, you're gonna have a hard time getting a job. They're not gonna want to hire you with those locks in your head." I'm like,
crazy.
First of all, even if you believed that to be true, why would you then say that I need to change shouldn't we try to change that idea rather than changing ourselves and saying that is okay to let them see us in that way and let us treat us that way? Yeah, it's really sad. And I think you were right to bring up the fact, and again, forgive me for misunderstanding your point to begin with. Class, don't come for me or Delon in the comments.
I'll concede. I was not specific. I did not clarify. So
you were saying, and I was like, what is going on here?
Oh, my bad.
No, it's okay. But I do think you're right in that, like, this is unfortunately symptomatic across cultural identities. Women do this to each other, right? This idea of like, well, she was assaulted. What was she wearing? Well, you should have known better. You shouldn't have been drinking. You see women push these misogynistic ideas towards other women. You see it. Look, there's Latinos voting for Donald Trump, and they are saying, well, we came here the right way, and then some of them are surprised when they're getting rounded up, and it's like,
I like to call them deportees at this point, but because they all got deported.
Well, did you see the song when it was like, I will vote for Donald Trump,
all
and
the
they
people
were on the boat
deported, gone,
and it's just it's like how, but again, the thing that you said about the proximity to power, it's the Leopard song, right? It's this idea where like, I'm one of the good ones. I will be fine because I toe the line and I finger wag at other people that look like me. And I go, this is the way, y'all, this is the problem with Black people. This is the problem with women. This is the problem with gays, whatever it may be. And it doesn't protect you. Like, we should all be allowed to be who we are unapologetically, as long as you are doing it consensually with other adults and you're not hurting anybody. Whose business is it?
Whose business is it? For real. I have to wrap up.
I know you got to run. Okay. Well, class, we're going to cut this week's episode a little short because DeLon is a busy bee and he has places to be.
So much work to do.
Tell us in the comments what your glow up is this week, or maybe you would like to email us about a TV show, a celebrity, or a news story that you'd like us to cover. Do that at lemmefixitpod@gmail.com. You can also send a tagline and we might use yours in the show.
And as always, we are here every Wednesday at noon. If you are new here, hit that notification bell so you can be reminded when we drop episodes. And if you're new here, please subscribe. Welcome to the class. We love to have you. Keep on coming back, like AA.
Yes. I'm Francesca.
I'm Delon.
And this was Lemme.